Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining Sacred Para today. And as you will see, I have my co-host with me, who is with me all the time, and this is Gloria. She is waving her hands at you today. I do hope that you guys are having a happy Saturday. Thank you for joining. Hi, hon. How are you doing? As Imani's World, it's so good seeing you on here today. So as I told you guys, today is going to be a recap. Hello, Design Mini Loves. Today's going to be a recap of the series topic that we've been talking about, and that is on storyline development, storyline content creation. And we're just really going to discuss what we've been talking about already with other previous guests, and where we're at right now with things, even where my storyline is at. And then we have time to do an unboxing as well. So we're going to try to fit this into a reasonable amount of time. I don't want to take up too much of your Saturday today, but I do want to be able to just get us in focus with our storyline development and just keep us on that. Next week, I am going to have a guest with me, and I know that you guys are going to enjoy her just as much as I enjoy her page and enjoy her personality and her spirit. So without further ado, I'm going to move Gloria aside a little bit so that we can actually do the unboxing. We're going to do the unboxing part first, because when we get to the storyline development, I would love to cue you guys in if you would like to add any information or just comment or ask a question. I want to have time for that as well. So I'm going to move her to the side. As you can tell, today she wanted to showcase her dress. She had her dress on the last week, but she wanted to keep it on so you guys could see it, as well as her miniature chair. Hello, husband. She wanted to have her own chair today. She was not going to be on my shoulder. I said, that's okay. That's okay. So without further ado, let's get to the unboxing. So I have been saving these boxes for some time. Some of these have been in here for probably about almost 2 months, and I just wanted to wait till the right time to actually unbox it with you guys. So I have told you guys, hello iHeart Dolls, that my mom is a big time Barbie girl just like myself, and she loves to purchase the Barbies and purchase the Kens and just see what I do with them as far as storyline. And also has recently come out in a conversation that she felt bad about throwing away a whole bunch of my dolls in Dollhouse when I was younger. So that's why she's been buying me dolls. Oh, thank you. I made that myself. It's a caftan. So thank you. So without further ado, I'm going to bring out these fresh dolls. So we have the fresh dolls. Oh, Gloria, I'm so sorry. We have the fresh dolls. I guess she was like, oh my God. Remember, you are married. Okay, so we have the fresh dolls right here. Hello, Mom. And I actually, he's one of the first ones, but he's one out of 3. Daniel, you guys have already seen in the storyline as DA. I went ahead and opened him up. I wish my mom would feel bad how she did me with my dolls. I understand. I do. But technically, my mom has already made up for it when I was younger. But I appreciate it. I do. Hello. So we're gonna open him up. I'm very excited about this. This is Anthony, and Anthony is posable. He's articulated. I really like his clothes. I have my scissors with me. I said, since we have so much to unbox, I got to get this done as quick as possible in the most professional manner. Hi, Donna and Dolls. So he is posable. He's articulated. I do believe he has 13 points of articulation. Make sure I don't mess him up. Yeah, that feels like it's going a little weird. So there we go. All right. He has his bald head. A lot of times what I've noticed with our Barbies, is that there'll be that line, like the one doll that has the bald head. She has that stamp line right here on her chin. He does not have that. Although you do get the articulation, it's not going to be the same. Like with the Mattel Barbie. Which, everything has its own differences. But just in case you were wondering, because that was one of my questions, does their head move around the same as the Mattel Barbies and Ken? And the answer to that is no. It is a little bit of a difference, but it does go side to side. So, you know, you can kind of make the different poses and so forth and gestures that you need to from there. He does bend at the knee. Gotta kind of straighten out his legs here. Now, my Anthony does have a little red splash of paint on his eyebrow. It's really, really faint, but it is there. Part of my issue is just that I don't want to take the acetone to it, because then I have to have the matching paint to, you know, do the eyebrow. So I'm still debating how I'm going to do that, if it's just going to be maybe an earring that's right there. And I also noticed that he has a little brown right on that eye. So he's a little flawed, but, you know, what humans don't have their own little personality, you know, flaws or character traits. So we'll just work it into his storyline. Maybe that's a birthmark. It kind of looks like what they call a strawberry patch. We'll just call it a strawberry patch that he has on his face. So I really do like his clothes. And I really do believe that Fresh Dolls, you know, when it comes to their clothes, they jam out on making sure that they stay nice and sophisticated with what they have on. His pants are a little snug. They did kind of unsnap when I bent his legs. A little paint can fix that. I agree. I just want to make sure that when I do it, that I don't mess it up. I've only done like 2 paint jobs, but that's something that I do aspire to. Prior to doing dolls, or actually doing the storyline with my Barbie dolls, I was actually making reborn dolls. So I'm pretty certain it's like, if I could do the reborns, I should trust myself enough to do a paint job on, hi Julie, V Barbies. I should trust myself enough to do a paint job with these dolls. So, loving his all black. He does come with accessories. He comes with the small glasses. Hello! His phone. And a fresh laptop that does open and close. Thank you. She said, you got this, sis. Yes, I do. I appreciate that. So we're going to put him aside for a moment and move on. He has a lot of different great things going on for himself. I'm looking forward to incorporating him into the storyline. I don't know what exactly I will do with him. Sometimes you never know these things. He may not show up until another month from now, or he may show up next week. So you just never do know. Here is Malik out of the package. And he also comes with, girl, you got to stop doing that. I keep on trying to remind her, you are married. She's falling over these guys. Like, no. Okay. Just used him in my storyline 5 minutes ago. Wow. Okay, I'm going to have to check it out. Oh, yes, because he's a doctor. Yes. And Julie B's, yes, he is Nova's doctor. So right here we have Malik. And he comes with braids. I'm going to snip him on out. Like I said, I got my trusty scissors to kind of make things quicker. I love that he comes with a jacket as well as this plaid shirt. Because then it gives you more clothes. And who doesn't like more clothes? I can use these items with him or for someone else. So I like that. Yes, I like that. So here goes Malik. He has the same thing with the 13 points of articulation. Head moves from side to side. He has on these nice pair of jeans with a waistband. Here goes the shirt. I really do like these shirts. Daniel had on a very nice shirt as well. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to do the unboxing with him, but he does have on some nice shirts. Or a nice shirt. And then here we go with these red shoes. Hey. He has this nice shirt right here, which also has the line cuff. So I do like the quality of this shirt. Now, Daniel's jacket did come apart a little bit. And I said, that wasn't a real big problem. I can kind of, do some alterations and just sew that up. So it wasn't a real big thing for me. But here goes his shirt. We're going to take out his jacket. Like I said, I always love extra clothes. This is something that I can use for him as well as another doll. So that makes me happy. You know, makes you want to do the happy dance. You can do extra things with the clothes. And it is snipped in pretty good. Hello, Unicorn Moon. Thank you for joining. And this is also very nicely made. It's not lined, but very nicely made. Now, the one that I had for Daniel was coming apart right here. I don't know if anyone else had that happen, but needle and thread matching green, you're good. So this is Malik, very handsome fellow with the braids. And my mother happened to get 2 of them, so I may rebody him. I don't know. I was trying to debate about it. I was like, maybe I'll do a giveaway. Maybe I'll do a rebodying. I don't know. I haven't really decided. So here goes the glasses that he comes with. Pretty much the same glasses that we saw Anthony with. I apologize. I dropped his phone. Here goes his cell phone and another Fresh Dolls laptop that also opens and closes. So if you are interested in purchasing him, or if you get him for a gift, now you have a pretty decent idea of what to expect. And as I said, in that same box came a second Malik. So I'm debating, I may rebody him. I don't know if anyone can tell me what is it like to rebody a Fresh Doll with a Mattel Ken. That's one of my concerns as far as the neck joint. Like once I take off the head and I put another head on, would it actually match? I don't know. So I'm somewhat concerned about doing that. So if you could send me a DM or a message right here if you've already rebodied a Fresh Doll with the Ken, and if it worked out for you, let me know. If it didn't, then he may be one that if not being a twin, he may be a giveaway. I've been holding on to this packet for quite some time. I'm really excited about opening it. It was one of those pamper myself days. Well, really not really. I saw it and it was like $7.99. I was like, oh, I want it. So went ahead and grabbed it. But I'm loving these new packages that Mattel's doing. Putting stuff in. I put him on the green hair BMR and he matched fine. Okay, so the neck, you didn't have any issues with it. That's my biggest concern, is that I didn't want to put a Mattel neck on it and then the joints not work out and it didn't look even. My mom said make them twins. I already have Prudence and Penelope, and I don't have problems with twins. I feel like, you know, I don't want to have too many twins in my community. So but that is always an option. But yeah, I would like to, okay, thank you. Thank you. She says she'll send me a pic later. Thank you, Imani. So this right here, you can store your clothes in there. You can store shoes in here. You can store your miniature food in here. That's just what I like about where they've gone with these things. Because after you've spent money, you'd like to be able to reuse something for, you know, in the future. So right here, I'm just going to actually take out the outfit. And that's it. I don't want to take out everything else because I would say I don't want to lose those pieces. So this right here, I think is so beautiful. I don't know if you guys have seen these new clothes, these new like spring clothes. Oh, they are so pretty. And actually, Bella, what is the Bella doll? I do believe their Monday theme is for flowers. And I'm looking at this right now and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure some other people may end up having their dolls wearing this, but nonetheless, I plan on putting this on my dolls. Now, unfortunately, this is not a curvy. I do wish that Mattel would invest in their curvies more, you know, and I'm thankful that we do have some SD shops that sell clothing for curvies, because I feel like Mattel does kind of miss the mark on that. I'm trying to understand why they created this line of curvies that we love so much, and yet they don't have the clothes for it. So I am going to have one of my smaller ladies, non-curvaceous ladies, wear that particular outfit. But I wasn't going to cut these out, but then I was like, you know what, I can stick it into that bag right there. So here goes a little nice spring summer purse. It's supposed to look like it's, you know, a woven purse, a crochet purse. Very nice. It does open. The pants might fit. I'm going to try it out, Julie, and see if it will fit, because I want my curvies to have more clothes. This doesn't fully open, although I did see on Julie B's page today a purse that I am wanting to get. I got my fingers crossed. I'm about to see how that works out, because it's a purse just like what we would have, a crochet purse that opens and closes. And so I really I want my dolls to have functioning purses. This is a headband. I know I had it up kind of close. I don't know how well you could really see it. Gloria's going to model it for a moment. She's like, this doesn't go with my outfit at all. I'm sorry. Just a quick little model. Not in your eye. There we go. So I don't really know how well this works with her locks. It may work better with RK. But RK's resting right now. No, she's pregnant, so she has to rest. You have some glasses. This is just a nice summer pack, or like I said, spring pack. And for those of us who are still staying in and quarantining, yes, that purse is amazing. I told you when I saw it, I said, okay, I'm sold. I have to find out about this SD shop, because it's very nice. Fancy Doll Design. Fancy Doll Design is so talented. Yes. And I really do admire the work that I saw from the live that Julie B did today. It was very nice. So you need to check out her page. Do that so you can see the live that she did with the clothes that she recently purchased. It was from EG and from Fancy Doll Design. This is kind of hard to see, but it's a flower. And I'm thinking that this is more like a necklace. Thank you for being my model today. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a flower necklace or choker. And a little pineapple purse. Now, somebody's getting fancy for the spring. So, we may be seeing that on Monday. Like I said, Bella Doll. I do believe... and I don't always get a chance to participate in their challenges. And I'm really hoping that I get a chance to do it this Monday. I always hope. I'm like, I hope against hope, like on that Robin Hood movie from a long time ago. It was Robin Hood Men in Tights. And Marion was like, I hope against hope. Well, I hope that I'm able to join on Monday. And it's a flower challenge. So here we go right here. This is the wheelchair can. And again, this was one that my mommy picked up while she was out and about. And she actually ended up getting 2 of these. But she got one, and I think that she said she forgot that she'd already gotten it. And so she was like, guess what? Guess what I found? And she had the second one of him. So he is just looking very nice and sharp and what we say debonair in his wheelchair. I really do like him. I was hoping to bring him out with the photo shoot that I did with the ladies with their lingerie. But because it was International Women's Day, I was like, I don't really think that he should crash in on that because it's their time. And when you cut him out, his head is connected to this plastic right here. So just be careful. I'm actually kind of glad that he has molded hair because then you don't cut into the hair. I've had that happen. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Yes, he can be used for several Ken dolls. That's why I didn't say anything about a giveaway with him. Because he can be used for several Ken dolls. Now, I do see that from them having those plastic pieces right there, it does kind of have 2 holes, which I'm not particularly fond of. But, and then his eyebrow, no, he's got a little mark on his eyebrow. But, just like Imani said, nothing that a little paint can't clear up. He comes with glasses. I told you, he is a cool looking dude. And his wheelchair, which I'm so glad there is no pink on this wheelchair. You know, I don't mind pink, but sometimes you do get kind of, you know, tired of it. And he has full points of articulation. Let's pull him on out. I don't know how many points it is, but he does have articulation. He has a made-to-move body, if that helps any. Yes, love that. He's a made-to-move body, too. Yes. And that's the awesome thing about him, because, you know, if you do decide to use him for your pictures or for your storyline, you get a chance to have him, you know, in a wheelchair and or walking and getting full range of his body. You know, he could be a yoga instructor. I don't know how you want to use him in your storyline. And of course, you know, if you need to do a body swap, if he's going to be a body donor, as I said, he probably would be a body donor for me, because I've had issues with Raymond's body for the longest time. If anyone has a Mary Poppins kin, then they may know what I'm talking about. His body is just very flimsy. His legs aren't sturdy, so they move all around, and I have a really difficult time with posing him, and I'm always concerned that one of his limbs may end up falling apart. So I saw a video that someone recently posted, and they were comparing the skin, you know, the shades of the kins, and his does match mine for my Raymond. So I am definitely going to be swapping out the heads and using him for my Raymond. He also comes with a ramp. So if you have a doll house, then this ramp would be something that you would be wanting to use. Or if you have a diorama, maybe where, you know, if you have like a grocery store or hospital, clinic, something like that, you can have this ramp right there and have your Ken or your Barbie, you know, come up on that ramp with their wheelchair. So that is a nice piece to also have. All right. Like I told you, I said there was going to be a lot, because I've been saving up all these dolls for a moment just like this, for a moment like this. Now, I did open him because Gloria needed clothes like 2 weeks ago. So let's blame her for this early box opening. She needed something to wear. So I was like, you know what? This is the quickest thing we could grab. The pants were too tight for her, but the shirt matched, and it was a good situation. So I threw the shirt on for her, and I put the shirt up into my box with all my other dolls. So I'll have to get the shirt later. But I do like him as far as that he does have this flocking right here. I may add, which will be my first time ever doing this, but I may add a little bit of flocking right here on the side just to get like a better blend. I know that nowadays this is kind of in style, where this is more closely shaven and then you have the hair right here. But my husband being a barber, he's always about blend, blend, blend. And I don't really feel like this blends. So I'm probably going to add a little bit more flocking right here and get that together. But he does come with these nice bright shoes. I don't know if I'm going to put him on a made-to-move body. I may, but then again, I may not. It depends on where I put him into the storyline. I am glad to see that that he is, you know, an African-American kin with hair. And we're just going to see what I end up doing with him. Yes, I love his face too, but I'm sadly waiting for a skin tone match. Yes, won't hold my breath with Mattel. That is so true. I don't know why they create all these awesome dolls and yet there's no skin tone to match and made to move. So that is rather disappointing. It truly is. Okay, moving on. Now my husband got these for me. I don't want to even take them out the box, but here goes the first one right here. It's from the Nutcracker. And I don't know what year it is. I want to say the video comes out in 2001. So this was like 2001. Oh, I'm so excited. I am going to open him up because I'm really curious to know if he is made to move, if he, you know, if he's articulated at all. I've been staring at the box for a long time, and I almost don't think that he is. And we know this is way older because remember these right here, these tie-ups in the back? Oh my God, yes, it is so old, his little hat though. These were so fun to untie. They really were. That's the awesome thing about, like, if you get an older doll, it's very nostalgic. You know, you get to go back to your childhood of opening up the doll for, you know, for Christmas or your birthday. So that always feels good. I'm gonna actually clip this one. It's kind of, if I can, there we go. Kind of in there. All right, let's see here. I don't think that he is. Yeah, I think that he is. I think his body just kind of stays in one position. I'm trying to be careful with him. All right, so we're untwisting. And it does have the instructions on the back of how to put him together. When I saw this, I said, oh my goodness. I told my girls, I said, now we have Halloween outfits. So I'm excited about that. So here he is. And he's so handsome. I'm excited. I'm excited. So his neck moves pretty much like the fresh dolls. It moves side to side. And he has his sword, but he doesn't bend. So, I mean, 2000, we really weren't seeing bendable Kens. Now, he may be someone whose face I can put on that other Malik. So we'll see. Looks like the pants and the jacket are connected. But he is so handsome. I am really excited about having him in my storyline. Yes. So I'm excited. I'm so excited about what I'm going to do with him. He's definitely going to be seen. In what way, I cannot tell you right now because I don't know. This is the other one. King Dominique. Yes. I am super excited. Like I said, my husband got these for me. And the funny thing about my husband and I, before we got married and we were, you know, quote unquote courting, if you want to go old school with the word, I used to go to the store. Yes, he is handsome, isn't he? I used to go to the store and the first place I would go to would be to the Barbie area. And I would tell him, I'm like, and this was before we had kids. We weren't married. I think we were engaged. And I was just like, I have a Barbie obsession. You know, I don't want you to think it's weird, but I just really do love dolls. And he supported it. So, you know, you want to get you someone, a partner who supports your obsession and is okay with it. He was just like, okay, no problem. Well, I'll shop around. Now he goes in there in order to see what else, you know, I have it put in my collection or to tell me about something new that he sees. So between him and my mom, I definitely have people looking out for my growing doll collection. I really didn't want it to get as big as it is. Granted, when I was young, I used to be told that my room looked like a toy store. Yes, get you someone who supports your doll obsession and is okay with it, you know, but someone who will help you stay on budget, you know. That's important. But yeah, I used to have a room that looked like a toy store. I was the only child, so I did, you know, now my mother was very strict though. I had a very old school mom. She's on here right now. My way or the highway kind of mom. So don't get it twisted into thinking like, oh, she was just extremely spoiled. Not the case. Not the case at all. I had a lot of responsibilities, a lot of chores. There's a lot of different stories on that, but yeah, she definitely did allow me to have fun with my Barbies, and you know, my aunt bought me Barbies, my grandparents. Like I've always said, you know, I was a very easy person to purchase for. That was the only thing that I wanted. So he is in here pretty good. Okay. There's like a cardboard piece that I'm pulling out right now. I don't really know what that was for. I'll have to do some investigation after the live and find out. Okay, so, and I didn't get a chance to tell you guys, but with the Nutcracker, let me put you down, Dominique. He does come with some accessories. I was just super excited about him, but he does come with a hat, and he has this Nutcracker face mask that he can put on that has a, oh goodness, a cape attached to it, and then he has a crown also. So that's what comes with him. With the king right here, he has a second crown. He has a box right here. He has this book with a rose. And then this outfit, because he's actually the prince and the pauper. And I don't know where the other crown went that quick. But he had a second crown that he's supposed to give to the princess. So I will have to locate the other crown. It probably fell down. Nonetheless, let's observe Dominique, because I am excited. I don't have to rebody him. He is articulated. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Hi, Daily Adventures of Ash Harbor. So I'm excited. I do not have to rebody him. Oh, look at that. Now, we're not talking about made to move body. No, because, you know, his ankles don't move. But his knees do. His elbows do. His head moves. For me, I'm happy. The hips move. He sits down. So I'm fine with that. I'm not asking for a whole lot. Just be able to move your arms. So I'm happy. He moves. Yay. No rebodying. Yes. That's okay. He's movable. That's the main thing for me. So he is movable. I'm happy with it. I'm going to put him up into his right spot. All right. Got a couple of made to move girls and a dancer girl. I'm actually excited about her because today is Life in Dolldom's birthday. So right after I get done with this live, I'm going to be doing my photo shoot. I don't know how old he is. I know that he is probably from, he has to be from like the 2002 or era, somewhere around there. If he sits and moves his arms, it's all good. Exactly. I fully agree with you. But yeah, I don't know how old he is. My mom had asked. But I'm just glad that he's articulated and he's a nice, handsome man, and I'm going to have him in the storyline. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. So right here is Life in Doll's birthday. And I have one that looks like her, but I like her eyes so much better. If you are a doll collector, you already know about standing in the store for, 30 minutes in order to look at one doll and compare it to the other ones and make sure that the eyes aren't wonky. So I'm really excited about what she looks like. So I will be using her as my placement for Margot in my photos, because this is Margot's birthday. So if you haven't done a photo shoot yet, you still got time. Make that photo shoot. And I think it's Happy Birthday, Margot. Go on Life in Dollum's page and you'll be able to see that. So I believe I'm almost done. Like I said, I did get some dancers as well somewhere. But I more than likely will be rebodying them. So that's not as big of a deal. Now, this right here is one that my mother saw. She was like, she moves. She just saw this one. So, so we have this one now, the Olympic star. She comes with a bag, and it is plastic, and so it doesn't open. The water bottle, banana snacks, and her shoes. And I'm just going to actually unsnap her out. But she has her leotard. She has her, I guess this would also be a leotard. She has her towel and her sweat outfit right here, her track outfit. And I'm not totally certain what these are. Not totally certain. Here goes her rings. And here goes her trophy. This right here, I know they said that you can put this on her and she, you can get her to spin around. And then she also has her medal and her batons. So let's get her on out. I will probably be rebotting her 9 times out of 10. I will be rebotting her, and that was my fault. I just knocked down Gloria. But 9 times out of 10, I will be rebotting her. But I am going to take this out so that you guys can get a glimpse of how this works, and even with myself. So from what I understand, you put this on the waist, and it's very tight. And let me get this off of her. Wow, they have that like on there really good. But we go in there with our trusty scissors and snap it out. And they actually had that rubber band piece knotted right there. All right, so this is supposed to be something that you hold and she can spin. So if she was going to do a flip, maybe I could hold her and spin her. Now, I would love this when I was a kid. I could have seen myself really getting on my mother's nerve doing that. Oh, yeah. Most definitely would have got on her nerve. So, yeah, you can just spin her, twirl her. Maybe she's doing a move like that. Hey, there we go. Yeah, so that's how that works. In case that's something that you want to purchase. Yeah, she's a lot of fun, huh? Twirl her around. There you go. Hypnotize your spouse. Be like, hey, I will buy more Barbies. I will buy more Barbies. All right, there you go. So this was a fun box to open right there. I'm going to get this all out of the way. And we're actually going to now switch on over to recapping about our series about storyline development. I hope that you guys enjoy the unboxing. I had fun doing it. Like I said, thank you. I've been keeping these boxes here. Oh, here goes the dancer. I said she was around there somewhere. Everyone said when you see the boxer, get the dancer. So got this one. And I'm excited because it looks like her skin tone matches with so many different dolls. And she's curvy. And you guys know how much I enjoy curvy. I'm curvy. So I want there to be curvy ladies in my community. I think she has a very pretty face. And I wouldn't mind keeping her. It's just, there's some other ones that I enjoy a little bit more. So 9 times out of 10, I will be using her as a body donor. But I am very excited about being able to have her. Because like I said, from what I've seen with other people's posts, and I'll ask you, what kind of body do you use? Yes, and it is, and that's what I heard, is that she's so hard to find. When you see her, get her. So I'm very, very glad that this was one of the things that my husband saw and got, because I want to be able to rebody my dolls and be able to have the curvy body. Like I said, I have seen her match with a lot of different dolls out there. Trying to make sure I don't get her hair. Even though I'm not going to use her head, who knows? I may end up putting her on a stiffer body and use her. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for her. So I want to make sure I keep her hair looking nice. So I'm excited. This is what she looks like. And like I said, she is a really nice looking young lady. Her hair is definitely cheap. Yes, it is. But, and you would, you really hope that it would not be. I like her clothes though. Mom said no. Yeah, we're going to rebody her. Because I have some dolls that I really do like, that I want to see on a made-to-move body. So she's going to be a body donor. But she's very pretty. And of course she comes with this boombox, which reminds me of back in the day. Very, very, very nostalgic. Now if you're young, you may not know about the boombox. Oh, I fully agree. You got to be on the lookout. Because she is so hard to find, and she is so hard to find at a decent price. So, like I said, that's something that my husband had picked up for me, and I was Very, very thankful. So I'm thankful, sorry, Gloria, that you guys have hung with me this long for the unboxing. And now we're going to do a recap. The recap's not going to take as long, but before we, move on, I want to be able to discuss where we've been at, what we've learned thus far together. And if you guys have any input that you want to say, how you do your storylines or what you would like to see, do not hesitate to chime in. You can send me a question or you can, ask to be invited in. Her outfit is cute. You can ask to be invited in so, we'll be able to dialogue and discuss. All right. Series topic, storyline, content creation. The very first time that we did this was on February the 12th. And it's been that long. It doesn't really seem like it, but we are literally like 10 steps away from April, right? But this all started on February the 12th, 2021 with a conversation that I had with My Little Curvy World. And I just want to bring up some of the points that she made during that video. Now, all the points that's made by the guests that have been here with me on Sacred Para IG Live, you can always go back to those videos and hear the full measure of the video because the dialogue and the conversation is so much more in depth with each one of the people that I talk to. I'm just going to be giving you guys like the highlights and points of what I was able to write down and what really did stick with me. There may be something else that you hear that sticks with you and that's going to help you out as you write your story. So go back to the videos. Okay. All right. With My Little Curvy World, some of the points that she made. Use imagination and passion. When you're writing your storylines, make sure that you're using your imagination and your passion. Be inspired. Some people write ahead and others write as they go, meaning some people, like myself, I take my pictures and then when I'm posting my pictures, that's at the same time that I'm creating this dialogue and I'm typing it out. Some people actually make a script. Days ahead, weeks ahead, and then that way when they take their phone out and they're typing it, they're able to look at the script and type. So it's whatever's going to be most comfortable for you. Write from life experiences. If you're kind of stuck, like, what do I write about? Write from life experiences. What's going on around you that you can use to create a storyline with? Be consistent. Know your motives for writing storyline content. Are you doing this just because you saw other people do it? Are you doing it because you really have an interest and passion in storyline? Are you doing this in order to gain followers? What is your reason, your motive for doing this? And thank you for joining. Stay encouraged. It can get rather hard. If you're going in it really expecting to get 200 likes on the very first post or on your 15th post or on your 50th post, and it still hasn't happened, stay encouraged because it's not really about the likes as much as it is about you getting your storyline out there, getting it out of you and getting it out there. Join dolly events. When you join dolly events, this will allow you to develop networks. It will allow you to develop friendships. And also, if you're looking to gain following, it will help you as far as gaining following. Being able to do your storyline is a form of escape. Add bits of real life to your storyline. She said, pull from other lives, from other people's lives, from your friends, your family, talk shows, etc. Why do storylines? Because it's therapeutic for the readers and the writers. So if you're wondering, why should I do storylines? If it's something that you really want to do, know that you're helping yourself and you're also helping those who read it. Get your spouse or your partner involved. Have starring actors and a supporting cast, just like in a movie. Make yours like a soap opera if you want to. Know who is your core individuals. Your core individuals are going to be your starring actors. Those are your starring roles, and this is your foundation. Keep them connected in your storyline. So for me, although you do see Gloria oftentimes, especially as my co-host for my lives because she is my mini-me, she actually is not my core. My core actually came with Tony and Nita. But I just enjoy Gloria so much and Raymond that if you notice in my storyline and in my timeline, they have really taken over. Their storyline is really taken over. But it all started with Nita and Tony. And I always have to remember that and tie them back in because they are my starring roles. Events help you to move your storyline along. So if you get involved with other people's events or you create an event, that's going to help move your storyline along, especially if you get stuck. Use of other gifts and talents. The ones that you tapped into and the ones that you haven't tapped into. So I crochet. So I know like in the previous, like my first post, you probably saw a crochet blanket that Nita was sitting on. That was a blanket that I crocheted. But there's been other things that I've learned to do along the way that I didn't. Like repainting the doll eyes for Tony. That really wasn't something I had did before. Although I had did the reborn dolls, I really hadn't did that with a Barbie. That's why I said I've done it about 2 or 3 times. Yes, I love a good doll soap opera too. Me too. Me too. Now, one of the other points that she said was grow through projects. And that was a quote that she had from Les Brown. And if I can create this in my doll world, what else can I create in my own real world? So whenever you are able to create in your doll world, it will empower you in your real world and give you more confidence. Make sure pictures are coordinated with your storyline. Exaggerate your doll pose. So I have Gloria here, and she's going to show you about exaggerating your doll pose. I agree. Yes, love good soap operas. Yes, my husband's seen me many times. I'm like, ooh, and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, it's just what I'm reading right here. I love a good soap opera with the doll world. So I was going to exaggerate her pose. Then there we go. Maybe she has had it up to here. I'm fed up. Her arms are out. We can even toss her head back. So maybe it's just, Lord, I'm just done with this. Okay? Now, we may be able to voice that, but it's a little bit more complex whenever you're using a doll. This could even be a pose for, hallelujah, praise. But if you were doing a storyline and she's just like, I'm done with this, her hands are up. So you want to really exaggerate the poses. If I want to have her arms extended, maybe she's welcoming someone over. So for us, we may be pretty settled in it. Like, hey, how are you? Right? But if you do this, it's not really exaggerating the pose. But on the other hand, if you put her arms up, right? Then it's exaggerated a little bit more, right? And so you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, that you go big. Go big. Even if it's something that you usually wouldn't do, but for your dolls, you have to make it go big so that it can be seen. Because the dolls aren't going to be able to do facial emotions. We do facial emotions. So if I'm upset, you can kind of like see it right in my eyes. Like, I'm so disgusted with you. How do I show that with my doll? Because they don't have the eye emotion, right? They're not going to be able to be like, I'm done. I don't want to talk anymore. All right? That's not true. I do want to talk to you. But I'm just saying, how will I show it with her? So I need to kind of think about what my own pose would be if I'm disgusted. Kind of make sure that I'm lowering her face and exaggerate with this hand. Like, I'm just done. I'm done with it. So maybe that's not something I would do because I have my face and I have my brows and my eyes and the intensity of my iris and so forth in order to communicate non-verbally how I feel. Can't do that with her. Can't do that with the Ken. So I'm going to have to make sure that I'm using shadows. So even like the way that I do the light would have to be a little bit, it would have to create like a shadow in here so that you can't see a smile, because if you see a smile, that can kind of create a disconnect. But if I have her head down enough, you're not going to be able to see her face. If I have her hand right here, that's going to kind of communicate that something's going on. She's feeling a certain way. So you want to think about those nonverbal cues and how you can communicate that. So exaggerate, exaggerate, exaggerate. Even if you feel like maybe that's a little too much, exaggerate. The more you exaggerate their doll pose, the more that you're going to express the emotion. Thank you. Make doll actions coordinate with your storyline. So you don't want to have a doll that looks like they just, everything's going really, really great. And you have like a sunshiny picture, but yet your dialogue is gloomy. Vice versa. You don't want to have a picture that looks gloomy, a photo that looks gloomy, and yet your dialogue is happy. So make sure it coordinates. You don't want to have something where you just have the doll standing there, but yet your dialogue shows that Gloria and Christy were having a discussion about Christy's new boyfriend. Okay, but I just see Gloria. Where's Christy? So make sure that you also have Christy in the photo, and it looks like they're actually talking. Because if I don't have them in the photo talking, and I just show Gloria, and my dialogue has this full conversation between Gloria and Christy, I'm going to be like, well, what did Christy say? Where's Christy at? Okay, so make sure that your photos always coordinate with the dialogue, with the storyline. Okay. She also said, include the dolls you're talking about in your photos. So we were just talking about that. Let the character speak. Give them a voice. Let them speak. Not everyone likes it, but I use FaceApp for my emotions. And I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. That's why we're having this time today. Imani's World said that she uses FaceApp. Hello, Small World Escapism. Hello. She uses FaceApp. I don't have a problem with it. Not too long ago, what is her name? My Froggy Stuff. My Froggy Stuff put out a post, and she had the original picture beside the picture that she'd edited with the FaceApp. And she was like, well, which one do you like? And I said, well, art is art. Art is art to me. I respect art. My mother can tell you I grew up in a neighborhood that had all kinds of art galleries. And that's really where like my love for, like the guy that she was seeing, he introduced me to Frida, and that's where my love for Frida Kahlo came from. And as you know, I love Bob Ross. And some people may say, oh, well, those are two different things, Bob Ross and Frida. But that's the thing about art, is that you can love people who have different perspectives. But the thing that I loved about both of them is the passion and the interest that they put into it. Frida was always very introspective. And a lot of her artwork, you see that. Very dramatic introspections of herself. And then with Bob Ross, when you looked at the past of him being a drill sergeant and this and that, and now he's painting happy trees, it showed that this was his peace. This was where he found his peace at. And really, that's what inspired this series right here, is understanding that anyone can write. Because the guests that God has allowed me to fellowship with and talk to and have you guys meet and speak with, everyone has a different writing background. Some people have written, and some people are like, I never wrote a day in my life. It was just something I wanted to do. And so it's to show us that anyone can write. If this is what you want to do, do it. Okay? So let your character speak. Give them a voice. You don't want to be so controlling with the dialogue, if you're doing dialogue, or with the words, to where your Barbie or your Ken is mute. Don't let them be mute. Let them talk. Give them that room and that space to be able to speak. Giving them a voice actually makes them individuals. Hello, so random minis. Hello. You are the director. It's a flow thing. And then she also said complexities, and I think this is so awesome. Complexities and insecurities and flaws is what will give a human personification to your doll. Give your dolls flaws. Give them complexities. Give them insecurities. One of the things on her own page that she had is that her doll Jazzy is a curvy beauty. And she also at times feels a little bit insecure because she didn't grow up rich. And sometimes she feels insecure because her body shape isn't, she's not this little skinny mini. And so, my little curvy world allows that to come out in the dialogue. Now, some people may go, well, why would you bring that up? Because there's a lot of women who face that, who go, well, my background is different. I don't have the same amount of money. I don't have the same kind of degrees as this other woman. And I admire her so much. And in this particular case, she was admiring the character Shannon. And so it was kind of bringing up those insecurities. And you never know what can end up bringing up an insecurity for you. And so when you write your storyline, to really give your doll the overall dimension of being human-like, allow them to have that character flaw. Allow that to be present. Don't feel like if I put that in there, it's going to make my doll seem like she's not perfect. That's what makes your storyline become relatable. Okay? Just like, now everybody may like how Tony, flips off at the handle. Well, there are some people who are just that hot-tempered, who have experienced a lot of things in their life to where they snap. Right now in my storyline, I got Mama Catherine, and Mama Catherine is so beautiful on the outside, but she's got some little ugly ways about her. And I've gotten some messages as far as like, why is she doing this? What's going on? And I really wanted, ideally, to create a Mama Catherine that was just the sweet, angelic mom and this awesome mother-in-law. But everyone's, background is different, and the reality of it is that some people have mother-in-laws is not always the sweetest person, So you want to make sure that you're honest about that and that you keep it real and that each character has their own personality. So that's one of the reasons why with Mama Catherine, I gave her own voice. She said some things that were extremely hurtful to Raymond, but that's who she is. And the more that we, see her in the storyline, possibly we'll get a better understanding as to why she acts like that. Because I really don't believe that there's any bad characters in a storyline. I mean, you can have some now unless you have like just some pure evil characters, that's different. But for the most part, when people act out, there's something else going on underneath. So all we see is the surface, just like on an iceberg, you see like the ice cap, right? But then underneath of it is this huge mountain of ice. And that's the same thing with people's personalities and their issues. We see the very top part of what's going on. It's just the surface, but underneath of it is all this hurt and frustration and brokenness. So that's really my desire with my characters who seem highly flawed, is to eventually bring across to you why they're like that. And really getting you to the part where you go, well, is that an antagonist or is that a protagonist? And the protagonist is, of course, the good character in literature, and the antagonist is the one that is known as the bad guy. So then it really makes you wonder. In fact, like my favorite books and favorite movies is whenever it makes me go, I know that he was a bad character, but I understand where he was coming from. And that's really where I want to get this at with my characters is, yeah, Tony flips off the handle, but he did see a lot when he was in war, and he did lose a lot, and he's going through some PTSD. And getting you guys to understand where they're at. That doesn't mean that you have to sympathize and agree with it, but understanding that just like these doll characters have layers, and as a writer, being able to create that, so do we as human have layers. And so let's see, I let the dolls speak for themselves. So Random Minnie said, exactly, that's what you need to do. Girl, mother-in-laws or in-laws in general can be a trip. That is so very, very true. The sweetest of them, and I'm just being honest, the sweetest of them can be a trip. And the worst of them can be a trip. And it works on both sides. And you have to be realistic and honest and not just look at your in-laws, but also look at your own family, because those family members of ours are our spouses' in-laws. And so you have to, also examine that interaction. And when you really do look at it objectionally, I believe that will also help you as you write. You look at your own personal interaction with your in-laws and your spouses or partners' friends. And then you flip that camera around and you look at your family's interaction with your spouse and your friend's interaction with their spouse or partner, so that you can then get a good dimensional understanding of how to write. So that's just a little tidbit that I put in there. So you're definitely right. So then on February 19th, 2021, I was able to do a conversation with House of Echelon. And some of the points that she stated were look and observe life around you. And this is as far as like, how do I write? What am I going to write? I don't know what to write. Look and observe life around you. No previous writing background. And that was the same thing with my little Curvy World. She stated that she wrote in school and that was really it. But there wasn't any other previous writing background. House of Echelon said watch soap operas to get more information about character development. She said doll therapy helps fight against depression and anxiety. Get family members involved in the doll community. Now that got brought up. I'm sorry, I have to grab my water. But that got brought up because she actually has a sister and a niece that she was able to pull into the doll community. And I'm not very certain if if her daughter has a page, but her sister does have a page, Swirl for You. So, and her page is very interesting and exciting as well. So she was able to pull them into the doll community and they do lives together. And it's just so exciting to be able to see two sisters being able to just share that joy together. And that's, like even as adults, they have something that they're connected to and that they relate to. So definitely, if you have family members, get them involved. There's another page. She has toy stories, and then she also has doll stories. It's toy. I think there's that line right there. I think at the bottom, and and then it says stories and doll stories. She has a page with two of her sisters as well, and oh my goodness, it is so awesome to see them create these storylines together and really make it work. So that's always interesting too. You can get your family involved. She said link your characters. Always try to make sure that you link your characters, which we spoke about before. Having your core, your foundational characters, and then everyone else in the supporting cast being able to be linked to that core. You can use 18-inch sets. Anyone that I'm bringing up, go to their page and see how they use these tips. My Little Curvy World, excellent job at what she does. House of Echelon, everyone that I've spoke to does a marvelous job. And anyone else that I haven't spoken to, but I just totally admire your page, or I've reached out to you and right now it's just not like a really good time. I love your page. And for those of the who I haven't been able to connect to, but I love what you guys are doing. So keep doing it. But she uses 18-inch sets. And we may go, well, that's too big for your Barbie because your Barbie's only 11 and a half, 12 inches. But she does something so interesting. She'll take a small box and stand them on that box and have them, at the counter or the stove. And it works perfect. And I've heard her during a live with her sister some time ago. I think it was like right around the holidays. And she was like, it's all about angles. And you see her use those angles to her doll's benefit. And it's marvelous. So whenever you get a chance to, definitely check out her page and see how she does that. She does say it's all about perspective and angles you use when you're doing your photography. All right. So on February the 27th, 2021, I was able to speak to Life in Dolldom. And like I told you, today is her birthday. Woo! Happy birthday. So make sure you go on her page. She is having a Happy Birthday Margot birthday event in which Gloria is going to be attending as soon as I get done with my live. So hi MS Gal 1965. Go on her page. Take your photos, get the right hashtag. I believe it's Happy Birthday Margot. But get the right hashtag and have your doll join that event. It's going to be very, very nice. So some of the points that she stated. Use stories from friends with their permission. So if you do in fact have a storyline from a friend and you're like, oh, this is so awesome, I got to use it. Make sure you get their permission, especially if it's a story that when they see it, they're like, that looks really familiar. I told you about the cat dropping the juice in my lap and my husband cracking up and the baby slipping in the juice as he walked. Okay, so I have no clue. I made it up. But nonetheless, that's no one story that I know. But if you created photos and you had the cat knock over the juice and it went in her lap and spilled on the floor and the husband laughed and the baby walked by and slipped, and your friend goes, I know that story, why didn't you ask me? That can create a problem. So try your best. Hello, sis. Make sure to ask beforehand. Okay. She had a previous background in photography, and she also has an art school background, but she said she did not have a writing background. It was something that she saw the photos actually of MS Gale 1965, and she was inspired and was like, I can do this. So I just want you guys to know that what you write, what you create does inspire people. It does. It makes a difference, especially during this time of the pandemic and the quarantine, where so many of us, even with the vaccine, are still, keeping to ourselves. What you create and what you put out there helps so many people. So keep doing it. It's not a rush. You do it at your own speed and your own time, but know that what you do has value. So going back to her notes, she uses cliffhangers, and she is very good at cliffhangers, where you just read and you're like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? She uses the invisible characters, and we spoke about that. And I even did a small demo on my page of how to use an invisible character. That is the character who is spoken of, but never seen. Or you can even hear their voice. You may even, like the example that I gave, it was with Audrey and her son. So you hear them talking, but you don't see the son. It could be someone that is, in her case, it was with Rose's mother. Rose's mother was spoken of, but we never did actually have an introduction to her physically. And then she was killed in a car accident. Now, one of the advantages of having an invisible character is if you do have something tragic happen to the invisible character, we as the audience are going to be hurt, right? Because there's a connection that's there, especially depending on how much use you did with the invisible character. If the invisible character was in there for some time, where now we've gotten, pretty acquainted with them, although we didn't see them, then if something tragic happens, then we're going to be hurt. But you as a writer, you don't really feel as bad because you don't have to physically remove your doll. Like if I had to physically remove Gloria from my storyline, that would be really difficult for me. In her case, she had one where I remember we were DMing her and commenting, please don't take Sai out of the storyline. And that's the grandfather. And he is such a unique character. He's just like that spice in that storyline that she has, that you were like, just don't take him out. I don't know what the storyline would be like without him. It would still be great, but ever since he's been in the storyline, he's made such a wonderful impact in Margot's life and in everyone else's, and he and Eartha, like the most unlikely character, the couple, but yet them being paired together is so beautiful. So it was just like, no, don't take him out. Don't take him out. And that's because we had physically gotten acquainted with him to the point where removing him tragically from the storyline would have been really heartbreaking. And so I'm glad that he stayed in there. Okay, so use of your invisible characters. Storytell through pictures. Use your pictures to storytell. Use your pictures. Attention to detail. Pay attention to detail. It makes a difference. It makes the biggest difference. It makes a difference as far as the props that you use, as well as paying attention to how you pose them, paying attention to the dialogue that you use. People watchers. Become a people watcher. Now, when I was a kid, and yes, those around you, like my mom and friends that I had as a kid could tell you, I was always staring out the window. Now, I wouldn't recommend you stare out the window now. I will definitely be saving this live. I wouldn't recommend that you stare out the window now, because you don't really know what people are doing around you. And you don't want anything crazy, any kind of, trouble coming near you. But when you're out and about at the grocery store or wherever else, pay attention to the people that are around you. Listen to the conversations that they're having without, staring at you. You don't want to seem like you're weird and intrusive. But, just kind of keep that ear out and be like, Okay, well, that was interesting. I could use that in my storyline. Okay, so be a people watcher. Watch people's interaction and add that in. Spend time with them. Spend time with your dolls. And that's what's going to help you create your storyline as well. Make it fun. That was one of the key things that was expressed, and even during my live with my little Kirby roll, it was said over and over again. And during my live with House of Echelon, it was said over and over again, make it fun, make it fun, make it fun. If it's not fun for you, then it's not going to be fun for us as the audience or as the readers. So make sure that when you do it, make it fun. Even if it's drama, still let it be fun for you. Okay? It's about making you happy. Make sure that your storyline makes you happy. You may have some sad parts. My goodness, I can think of so many storylines that have had sad parts. Even right now, my own storyline with, going through the situation, the ordeal with Mama Catherine, it didn't really make me happy. But I feel like it's a means to an end. It was fun to do. But it really didn't make me happy what's going on between my characters. But nonetheless, I know that it's a means to end to where in the long part is going to, come out in a good way. Have an idea of people who inspire you in the doll community. Almost most of the lives, without even asking, who was a doll page that you admire the most, it would just come up. This person inspired me. I love this person's work. I like how this person does this. What you do, like I said before, it matters. It counts. People are looking at your page. Yes, I'm right there with you. Daily Adventures of Ash Harbor said, I've cried writing. Yes. And there's going to be storylines that you do that does cause you to cry. There's going to be characters that you have to utilize in a distasteful way. And it can make you not really want to write it or take those pictures. But you know that in order to be relatable, you have to put it out there. So put it out there. Also know what people in the doll community inspire you. That's what's going to help you keep going too. Not so you can copy their storylines, no. But art is inspiring. I may not ever be able to do a piece like Frida. Okay? I do some art. But I may not ever get a piece like Frida. But I am inspired by the way that she does her art or did her art. I have to say does though, because her art is still out there. So does a legend ever die? I love the way that she was an activist. I love the way that she kept being, that she just kept pushing and being persistent in her art, even literally on her deathbed. I love that about her. And I love the factor being that she turned her pain into therapy for herself as well as for others. Now, she had a very controversial life, and, I don't plan on having affairs and having my husband cheat on me or anything like that. So I wasn't inspired by that part, but I love the fact of being that throughout all of her grief, all of the miscarriages, the issues that she had with her spinal cord, she never stopped. She kept doing her art. And that's one of the things that you have to do is find someone or some people in the doll community that inspire you and allow them to kind of mentor you. Even if you never do talk to them, allow their art, their work to inspire you and mentor you. Shoot next to the window for natural light. So if you're someone who enjoys natural light, shoot next to the window. It means, do your photo shoot next to the window. You can do that, with your take your diorama near a window, or you can do it outside. You can take your dolls outside and be able to do your photo shoot. Then we talked about some of the pros and cons. And she said that a con was having to type it out on the phone. That is kind of a con. I do wish that we could type it out on our laptops or our computers, using our keyboard. But as of now, Instagram really doesn't work like that. Another con can be writer's block. Yes, most definitely. Writer's block can be a huge con. And another con it can be stressful. It can be stressful because, we think about our dolls quite often and our storylines quite often, right? And so if you get kind of lost on what your next step is, it can be rather stressful. Or if you have an intense storyline, that can be stressful. Or if you feel like, if you've kind of made up in your mind this goal where you're like, I'm going to post every other day. And you posted on Monday and now it's Wednesday and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to post. That can be stressful. we talked about the preference of one doll versus multiples. If you have multiples, it does become more of a complex storyline. And you can definitely you can definitely make very creative storylines with just one doll. And then during that video, she gave a couple of examples using 2 other doll pages and how they're able to use the one doll and create all kinds of lavish and creative storylines. Julie B. Barbie said, I type it out in the iPhone Notes app, then copy and paste to Instagram. Wow! I'm going to write that down, because that will make it so much easier. So she types it on her iPhone in her Notes section, Notes app, and then copy pastes it into Instagram. Thank you for that. And I'm going to write down Julie B right here, Barbies. Awesome. Thank you. That is such a good note. Because you do get tired of having to type, you know, hitting all these keys and writing it on there, mistyping it or misspelling it or anything. You have to go back. So I thank you for that. Yes, type it in the notes on desktop. It syncs to iPhone, then copy paste. So I'm writing that down. And if you'd like to write that down as well. I will share that again. And again, that was Julie B. Barbies. That is great. Then I copy and paste. I learned that the hard way when Instagram deleted my whole conversation. Yes, it does. It stinks. It so stinks whenever Instagram has those kind of, flaws going on. And then I also believe that that's a great idea to do, because I see, and then you have to start all over again. And I see so many different pages where people are like, well, this is my new page. My other page got shut down and all my work is gone. Oh, that stinks. Now, you can always back up your pictures, but what about the dialogue? What about the storyline? So I like what you just wrote as far as being able to maintain that storyline, that conversation. So if anything does happen to your pictures, Lord forbid, or to your whole page, you can go back and recreate that by still having the information stored in your Notes app. So I like that. I'm definitely going to be using that from now on. Thank you. All right. So it can be stressful. You can definitely use creative storylines with just one doll. Now, when we talk about multiple characters, Life and Dalton said, for the use of multiple characters, you can have a party. And she gave an example as far as with the wedding that Margot had and how there was the celebration. And then she had each character kind of break off with side storylines. So each character, after the wedding and after they had the party, the reception, then you see the side storylines that Rose has and the side storyline that Hazel has. She said post with numbers so that readers know the post order. And that's really something that I want to start incorporating into my pictures, because, and actually I just recently, like yesterday, got a message saying that someone had saw my post and they were reading it, but they were kind of lost. And so they had to go on my page in order to, backtrack and find out what was going on. So I'm really in consideration of adding some type of numbers or some type of lettering so people know, like ABC, or just putting the numbers on there, because I really think that was a great tip right there to let people know what part of the post that they're on for that day. Look for ideas around me. That was one of her other tips. In case you're trying to search for ideas, look around you. There's always constantly ideas around you. Even if it's just, this is spring, the weather's changing. Maybe I'll just have my dog go for a nice walk. Put that on there. Yes, I love that she does that. Yes. Bring and give life to your dolls. Leave room for them to have a voice. Keep it simple. You can use 18-inch sets. And she said that it's less stressful with 2 characters. So if you do have multiple characters, if you have 2 characters, it's oftentimes less stressful because you're able to really share the dialogue. Now, I'm going to also go over briefly some of the notes that I have taken with my conversations with Daily Adventures of Ash Harbor, who's on here right now. Good Lord, I have voices in my brain always. And it's a good thing when you're doing storylines. It is. You can say that. And I fully understand, you know, if you're a writer and you're doing storylines, you need to always have that rich content in your head so that you'll be able to write. So that's a good thing. All right. So Daily Adventures of Ash Harbor. We had this wonderful conversation on May 5th, 2021. She did writing as a youth. She was an avid reader. She has no previous background with writing, but she loves to write. She loves to read romance novels and loves to tell a story where you can hear the characters' voices. She's definitely a storyteller. She loves to bring life experiences into the story. Always has a book or journal next to her. Music helps her while she writes. It really sets the mood and even the personality of the doll. So if you're a person who enjoys music, don't stop yourself from listening. You don't have to have all this silence and just sit there and go, what am I going to write? What kind of doll are you? What's your mood? Put some music on. And once that music really, you know, if you're juiced about it and you got some Sierra on, or you have some Motown, or you have some jazz, and you come to this understanding that, hey, I have a doll who just, you know, she likes, she has more of a Miles Davis kind of soul. You know, that's just where the rhythm of her beat is. She has a very sultry personality. Then you want to create a storyline around that. She always has a journal by her bed, and that journal allows her to be able to write notes in it. Always keep yourself, if you're not able to get to your dolls, especially, you know, like in my case, I'm a mom, I'm a wife and a mom, I'm a daughter. And so I stay pretty busy just with those elements alone. And we hadn't even gotten into being able to write and have deadlines with that. So just talking about being able to have my children, which it's 9 of them that came out of this body, my husband and I produced. And now we're on number 10. So there's times when I'm tired and I don't really get a chance to write, or I don't get a chance to get on Instagram and post the picture, even though I may have the picture on my phone and not be able to post it. But if I have some paper or a journal next to me, then I can write those notes. And it doesn't have to be always a dialogue. It could be, next time I set up, have Gloria wear this. Have this doll stand here. Use my lighting. Thank you, glory to God. But yeah. I believe all of us have the Superwoman badge. We really do. And you really do examine. It's like, how do I get all that done? Yeah. So, being able to write those notes right there. So make sure that you have yourself a journal or some paper right next to you that you can always write notes. She also stated different personalities and different actions for each one of your dolls makes a difference for the personality. Yes. It makes a difference in the personality for your doll. So you want to have different personalities. You want to have different actions to be able to show that they're different from each other and they're even different from you. You definitely have to have passion. Write from your passion. What interests you? Don't create an account that looks like someone else's just because you really do admire their work. You can admire their work. Like I said, I'm a art lover. Okay, I can't call myself an art connoisseur because I may have seen a picture of Van Gogh and not really know if it's him or, if it's his work or not. So I don't want to call myself a connoisseur, but I love art. Nonetheless, I realize that each person has their own way of doing it. Julie B. Barbie's has her own way of doing it. The Craft of My Eye has their own way of doing it. Daily Adventures of Ash Harbor has her own way of doing it. I want to make sure that when I do it, that it's my signature and that I enjoy what I do, that I'm having fun with it. So that's really important. Daily Adventures of Ash Harbor does have 3 accounts. She has her Daily Adventures of Ash Harbor where she does her videos and her vlogs. And then she also has her Ash Harbor stories, and that's on a different page. And then she has Mandy Doll Couture, where that's her all the items that's in her Etsy shop. So definitely check out her page. All right. Concentration is more focused and more intimate whenever you have a smaller, if you have like two dolls or a smaller group. But you do get a chance to explore more personalities whenever you have more dolls and the different things that you want them to say. So once again, if you have multiple characters, or if you just want to have one or two characters, that's something that you have to decide for yourself on how you want to tailor your page. But do understand that you can make it work. You don't want to, I've seen some pages where they'll have one character and they'll just talk about, well, my dog, well, kind of bored today, don't really know what to do. Yes, I'll go shopping. How are you going to spend your Saturday? And then I've seen some where they just got the one character and the one character's like, woo, had fun in the city. Can't wait to be able to do more on this Saturday. And, it's a really insightful world, and they use all different kind of colors. So it's really up to you on the mood that you want for your doll. It's really up to you, and on how creative that you want to be. You can use one or two dolls and create this very intimate, passionate world. Or you can use multiple dolls and really show the range of personality that each doll has. In the same hand, you can have a whole bunch of dolls and they can get really, really cluttered and not know who's who. And you can have some voices of dolls that start sounding the same because you didn't create a really developed personality for each individual doll. So you got to be careful. Just like there's some dolls, like I said, that you may never see. Even from the box that I just opened, or the boxes that I just opened. Why? Because they're not relevant to my storyline. Will I create another page and showcase those dolls? Maybe, maybe not. It just depends, because right now I'm having fun with my Sacred Para page and I want to be able to maintain that the way that it is. Some dolls you may just see at a party, but they won't have an actual storyline. They won't really have any kind of character development because they're not essential to my storyline. Does that make sense? So there's some dolls that I will probably just have for a party, and that's it. I'm not going to change out their bodies. I'm not going to make them made to move because they're not an essential part to what I'm wanting to tell in my storyline. So you have to make that choice. Who's going to be essential in my story? Who's just there for, maybe parties and galas? Who's just there for extras? For people walking by to create a scene that looks like it's crowded, and who's going to really be a main focus? Okay, corset. All right, we're going to talk about corset. It's important that you get your story out. Well, actually, we just got done talking about your corset, so we got that part. She stated as a pro that it's important that you get your story out. Love it. Yes, I call them extras. Exactly. So yeah, you may have some that are just the extras. And that's it. If you have like a street scene and people are walking by, maybe like a New York City scene, and before the COVID, when it was really, really, really busy and congested. So you want to show how congested that street is, and you're going to have a whole bunch of your extra dolls out there, but they don't have storylines because they're not essential to your actual story. Okay, so some of the pros, she said, getting the story out, love it, enjoy what you're writing, and that it's rewarding to get the story out. Some of the cons is writer's block, not wanting to write, and if you have something going on in your life, we're all human. We have a life outside of our doll community, and you're a mother, you're a father, you're a friend, you're a relative, you're an employee, you own a business. Things are going on around you, and sometimes it can be extremely stressful to the point where you're not able to write. And sometimes it's so good as what's going on around you, you're not able to write. So, life happens. Write as you type. Some of us write as we type. She writes as she as she's typing, she's writing the dialogue and creating the story. And make room for the characters to speak. Always make room for the characters to speak. You can stick to the same story, or you can just start to branch off. So what are we talking about right there? So if you have like multiple characters, you can always stick to that same storyline, or you can go ahead and with your multiple characters, branch off and create a whole new story for those characters. It's really up to you. And then she says to reread, which I think is really a great advice. Reread where you were at with your very first post to where you're at right now, and you'll be able to see your progress. So that's always a really good note in case you're saying, am I really growing in this? Am I really developing as a writer? Go all the way back. Go all the way back. And it's always good to go back as well, because you can always tie up loose ends. Recently, and this is just an example, my husband and I, we were watching Men in Black with the children. So as you know, there's like Men in Black 1, Men in Black 2, Men in Black 3, and then Men in Black International. We haven't seen International yet, but we of course have seen 1, 2, and 3. I think that, my husband and I, we're old school. Like, we had gotten so used to Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. It's like, neither one of them were on the International one, so we haven't seen it yet. But we'll get to it. So, long story short, we're looking at the third one. And in the third one, I am going to give out a spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, you may want to close your ears. Don't sign off of the live. Just close your ears. But in this third one, you come to see who Will Smith's character's father is. I think he's Agent J. So you see Agent J's father. And yeah, it is Agent J because his real name was James. So you see his father, and come to find out, his father was like a general in the army. And he actually died because he had stood in front of him, moved Agent K out the way. And the villain, he had these spawn things that came out of his hand, and he shot it at him and killed him, right? So fast forward to the very, very end, and little boy comes out looking for his dad, and Agent K is like, he's kind of at a loss for words. And then he, does that little, he puts that thing in his face, and it blanks out his memory, and he tells him, your dad was a hero. And so little boy has this watch, and then that's when it like ties in, and Will Smith's character Agent J is like, oh, that's me, right? And he realizes that what his dad did, and he also comes to the understanding that Agent K literally was a part of his life, like always, and had been watching over him this whole time, which makes me cry. I've cried off of that part several times. I think like this last time I saw it, I was like, wow, I did really good. I didn't cry, because it always makes me cry. Now, why do I bring that up? Because they tied it in. If you go all the way to the very first one, there's a conversation about his dad where he says that his dad was a hero and he had the watch. And then I think in the third one, he says something negative against his dad. There's a second or third one, and Tommy Lee's character, who's Agent K, is like, well, you don't know that. You can't really say that about your dad, right? So they reread the script, and they were like, how can we tie this in? And of course, they did an emotional tie-in. So I say all that because go back. And actually, I just read about the Flash series on CW. If you do watch that they said they went all the way back to season 1, and they were like, oh, we didn't really put the original Wells in the storyline a lot. Like, I just read this yesterday. I like reading up on storylines. So they said we didn't really use him enough. So now we're going to go back, use that same character who is Wells, Dr. Wells, and we're going to show the original Wells in this new season so that people can get an understanding of who he was originally, which I think is cool. Because that means that you went back and you said, what can we do that we didn't do before that's going to like tie up any loose ends? So when you go back and you reread it, it gives you a chance to see your progress, as well as to see like, what's a loose end that I didn't do? I just recently did that with Audrey. When I used the invisible character, I had realized, oh goodness, I never did really, I've said that her son was coming in town a long time ago, like September, October, and never utilized it. So I was like, okay, now would be the great time to be like, she's picking up her son from college and being able to see that play out. So always go back and reread. All right. So now We're almost towards the end of our recap. Hope you guys are enjoying it. All right. On March 13th, 2021, I was able to talk to the lovely Nisha K. And these are all lovely sisters of mine. I've just been so blessed, honestly, to be able to connect with so many awesome, amazing sisters through Instagram and through this doll community. I have no complaints, like no complaints at all. You guys have made my journey really enjoyable. I love watching what you produce and what you put out there. And I love the factor being that when I talk to each and every one of you guys, it's just been so down to earth and so many things that I have learned as a writer. I'm an indie writer. And one of the things that I know as a perpetual student is that it's important to always learn. And I've learned so much from you guys in your photography and in your storyline development, and even especially in our own personal conversations. So I thank each and every one of you guys who I've been able to conversate with. Thank you guys for saying yes. And for those of you who I've connected with and you were like, no, not right now. Thank you for even telling me not right now. I appreciate that. Or if you were just flat out, no, I thank you for that, because I still love your page. I still respect you and I love your art. And I just thank you guys for it, because even whenever you said no, you were still polite about it. So I thank you for being polite and still, telling me no. I was like, that's fine. I thank you. I still love your work. If you got an Etsy, I'm still going to support it. So thank you guys. Thank you. Okay. So speaking to Nisha, and Nisha K also has an Etsy. I told you Mandy has an Etsy, which is Daily Adventures of Ash Harbor. She has an Etsy. My Little Curvy World has an Etsy. So, all right. Anyone can write. That's really the message with this whole series, is understanding anyone can write. She said to make sure that your storyline, that is actually consistent with your photos, which I think is an interesting point. Now with Nisha K, one of the things that was very different is that each one of her posts, for the most part, is a different story. So we weren't really dealing with, like with my storyline, you're basically following the life of Nita and Tony, or Gloria and Raymond, and everyone else who's involved in their journey. And many of the other people who I've had dialogues with, you're following either their main character or main characters and their journey through life in their community. With her, it's like each one of her pictures has a different story with it. So she said to really utilize your picture. And I thought it was so awesome, because I put this quote underneath of her video, so that you have to tell a complete story in a complete photo. Oh my God. Like I said, oh my goodness, like that's a tip that I could take for myself in my writing or in my storyline development with the doll community, to make sure that what I put out there becomes a complete picture in each photo, and that the story is complete in that photo. So that's one of the things that she utilizes. On the flyer that I had for her with that conversation, she had a picture of a doll on the floor with records all around her. And she had that one because it was a memory of her mom, and her mom laying on the floor listening to records, and it was just like her time of solitude, and she would let her kids come and join her. It was very beautiful. Go back to the video so you can hear her in detail speak about it. But she talks about how she uses her pictures as an opportunity to give space to friends to do things that they're not able to. So she had like a picture of her sister hiking, and her sister loves to hike, but right now with the pandemic hasn't been able to. And her sister was like, I'm hiking. So I gave space to her to be able to do that. She has another friend who enjoys doing artwork and isn't able to do that. So she created a picture of her friend, of a doll who's representative of her friend doing artwork. And it gave space to that. And you're able to do that with your work. You're able to do that with storyline development, being able to give space to people, to be creative and to do things that they may not. And even especially if you have a mini-me or a doll that represents you, being able to do that. She talked about the importance of staging details. She does not have a strong background in writing, which I know that a lot of different people who I've talked to is like, I don't have a strong background in writing, or I didn't write. But I'm telling you, you wouldn't know that with their storylines, because it's so awesome and so very detailed and so poignant that they say that. But they allow their characters to speak, and so it allows their writing to just come out. She uses her photos to convey a message. She has a degree in graphic design, a master's in photography, and she uses details with her props to really send the message out. So it's so important how you use your props. It's very important where everything is staged at. And she said that, and this is something that my husband always says, that whenever you post, I'm sorry, I was excited, I spoke fast. This is something my husband also says, that whenever you post your picture, that what people will do is that they'll take the screen and open the picture wider so they can see all the little details and make sure that all the light is filtering through in the picture and see what other little props that you have. So you want to consider that when you make your props or when you're doing your lighting, that people are going to widen that screen so they can see everything that's in there. Okay. She does not have an interior design background, but she has a very interesting story that you do want to go back and listen to about how she got into interior design with her minis. And she does such an excellent job with it. She uses natural light, and she allows that natural light to really tell the mood of her characters and really set the scene. She uses the natural light actually as a character itself. And so that's what was so very interesting to me. She said most of her dolls are in their 20s and they're going through issues. And she said she likes to do that because that's really that time when you're finding your identity. And so she puts that experience into her page. She always tries to keep it very positive. She does research with all the work that she puts out. She goes on Pinterest, Instagram, interviews people. So this is something that you can do if you have a particular storyline that you want to put out there. For myself with Tony, he's a war vet. So we're dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, and it's not really something that I've had a lot of interaction with. Right? So that's something that I want to research. I have to go and interview other people. I have to go look up information and find out, how does that affect that person? How does that affect the spouse? How does that affect the family? What's going on with them mentally? Now, I have spoken to other vets and heard a snippet of what they feel and what's going on mentally. But it's something that you don't want to just congesture it. You want to make sure that you're getting the information that you need so that when you tell the storyline, that you're telling it properly. Okay? Make it realistic. So one of the examples that she had was with a picture that she created with the diorama, and you have someone that's a plant lady who loves her plants, and one of her plants cracks. And so what she did was that she literally took a small planter, and she said that she cracked it outdoors. And then she took the pieces and she put it in the diorama and had the dirt and made it look realistic. That if the planter really did drop, this is what it would look like. So you want to make sure that you make it real. If you're able to and you have the finances to, make it real. But she said she just used dirt that was outside. So we have dirt outside, and if you have a small planter or, like some type of clay, or if you have clay at home and you can kind of, let it bake, create it and let it bake or let it sit out to where it hardens, you can do stuff like that. So you want to get as creative as you can, but also think about what really happens in real life and how can I convey that in this picture. Put yourself into your dioramas. Make your details be on point. You do not have to have a strong background in photography. You do not have to have a strong background in writing to make this happen. She says that she always asks herself, why is she in the diorama? Why this diorama? And that's what also helps her create the storyline for what she's making. Be who you are. She says that she has been doing collecting for over 15 years. And she says that with her work, I give you the groundwork and you take it and make it your own. And her main thing with her details is to pull her audience in. And really, when you use your details, you want to be able to pull your audience in. She uses kits for her diorama, which isn't a problem at all. I think sometimes we feel that we have to like start off from scratch and do it all by hand to be able to make it work. If you have the finances and it's easy, and I've seen dioramas for $30, and I've seen some dioramas that's $500 and more. But if you have the finances and you're able to get the kit and you feel like that's going to be easier for you, maybe you don't feel as crafty or you just don't have the time, then buy the kit, buy the room box, and don't feel ashamed of it. You know, if that's going to help you be able to do what you need to do for your storyline, do it. Give yourself time. Also, she said, buy your stuff in the decor style that you desire. And she gave an example with the boho style. She said to invest in your sofas and your chairs and your couches. So that's what you really want to invest in. She said pretty much everything else for accessories, you can go to other places like Hobby Lobby, or you can go to Michael's, or you can go to Target. And I'm hearing so many lovely things about Target's dollar section, and she brought that up, that a lot of your accessories, all of your little props and knickknacks and miniatures, you can really get those things at Target. And I'm not really certain how many people are connected to Grandma Gets Real, but she constantly shares where she gets her miniatures from. She's like keychains, magnets, and dollar sections. So you want to go ahead and always be on the lookout for those little tiny pieces that you can add into your diorama. One second. Thank you. So just look for like those little bitty pieces that you can add into your diorama that's not going to be expensive, but you can make it work. She also has a page by Nisha K Tutorial. As I stated, she does have a Etsy shop as well. You can always talk to her, she said, about how to use natural light. She uses things like felt for rugs. She said that she also will use a white poster board sometimes and use that to bounce the light to make it even all the way through her diorama. And for her, because one of the questions that does come up is like, when do you do those photos? And I think that's like a lot of questions that we have for the people that do dioramas or storylines of any nature. It's like, when do you do your photos? And for her, she said that she does hers during her weekend. I've brought a bunch of mini trees from Target's dollar section. Yes. So definitely check out Target's dollar section. I'm hearing great things about it. I'm going to be checking it out myself. And she said to get it as close to a light as possible. The closer that you get it to a natural light source, the more light that's going to filter into your diorama. And she says that she also uses stickers for artwork. She talked about making sure that you search out coupons like at Michael's, and that will really help you as far as with costs. And that 1/12 miniatures also work for the different props that you will need. You can get plants for like $1.99 at Michael's. Hello, Newly Free Barbie. So those were some of the tips that she also gave about storyline development and being able to just work your pictures, make your details really pop out in your photos. And the last one that I have that will recap us, hello again, sis, that will recap us to where we need to be for next week, was with Julie B. Barbies. And Julie B's on here right now. And so one of the things that we talked about was, when did she start? She started in July. And she said that she just, she's a very creative soul. She enjoys painting, art, creating miniatures, photography, and that she's really just seen her love for photography evolve. She didn't have any previous work with writing. She always enjoyed soap operas. And she always enjoyed creativity and playing with Barbie. So this really does mash those two things together, her love for creativity and her love for Barbie. And she also believes in research. So she says that a lot of her things that she has on her page and how her setup is, it comes from her being able to research on Pinterest and seeing different designs and deciding on where she wants to go with that particular design. And she's self-made. She's been able to make her miniatures literally by teaching herself. So she's self-taught, I should say. She is self-taught. And I think I'm starting to get a little bit of a disconnect. So I'm going to try to go through this a little bit sooner. I'm freezing. I'll be right back. Let me see. Am I coming back? No.